Hello. Today I'm kicking off a series called The A to Z on My Healing Journey. A lot of times when we talk about healing journeys, or even the jokes about everyone being on a healing journey, I think what's underneath that is a lack of understanding of what that means. I think it can be unique to each person. And so, my goal in this series is to talk about my own personal journey in hopes that it may help someone, that it may resonate and help you begin to understand what is going on inside of you and how you can become the best version of yourself in this thing called life. So, this series is called MayDay because a few years ago, I had this distress signal coming from deep inside my soul that was like a Mayday signal that was telling me if I did not make significant changes, if I did not stop to figure out what was happening and getting some help, getting clear about the changes I needed to make, I truly didn't know how much longer I would be able to function, that I would be able to literally be in my right mind. And so I began to embark on a healing journey. And so A to Z, as you would imagine, we're going to go through the alphabet over the next 26 days. Today, the word is acceptance. I talk about acceptance quite a bit. And speaking of who am I? I am Danielle Brooks, and my channel is Refreshing Words with Danielle Brooks. And again, my word for today is acceptance. My goal with all of my videos is to empower, equip, and encourage, particularly women, on their breakthrough, on their healing journey, to be able to break free from whatever is binding them, whatever in life is holding them back from joy, from peace, and happiness. Again, acceptance. I talk a lot about accepting your current reality. That has been important on my healing journey because, as someone who is an eternal optimist, I, for many years, would always look at potential and possibility, find the silver lining in the most damaging circumstances. I believe after some therapy and time and just understanding myself, that part of that was a survival response for me. Something deep within me that I'm appreciative of now that allowed me to have the strength to dream, to believe that there could be something more. However, not facing my current reality also caused me to remain in damaging situations much longer than I should have been. And so I would encourage anyone who is feeling boxed in, feeling as if they've given their all, they have tried all the things, whether that is in a relationship, on a job, in whatever circumstance, that you ask yourself hard questions. And one of them is, what exactly is the current reality? Not my hope for it, not my dressed up version of it, not the one that I tell my friends or my family, not the motivational story that I tell myself to get out of bed in the morning, but get very honest and accept the current reality. I believe it is only from that place that you can begin to make choices and assess what needs to remain, where doors need to close, what places need attention in our lives. I also, on this journey, had to accept the consequences of my actions. A lot of things happen to me in life, lots of pain and suffering. And that was part of me accepting the reality of what happened to me and grieving about it and healing from it and understanding the triggers surrounding those things and how it caused me to show up. However, I made choices based on all of that, and those choices were mine. And I had to accept the consequences of the choices that I made, regardless of why I made them or the state of mind that I was in when I made them. I had to accept the consequences of my actions. I had to accept the debt that I got myself into by the ways that I engage with money, my money mindset that was not there, the poor choices that I made in relationships, my inability to have constructive conversations that would cause me to be in extremes, either super pleasing and accommodating, and then the other extreme was this very resentful person that would go off or snap. I had to accept the consequences of that Jekyll Hyde behavior of the unhealed version of myself and what that did to relationships and did to opportunities, quite frankly, that maybe I wasn't able to fully benefit from, or relationships that weren't as healthy as they could be. I had to accept that responsibility. I had to accept along those lines the way that I hurt others, in the way I showed up in that unhealed version of myself. The things I would say. Some people know me for having a very quick wit, and I, know that some of my words have been damaging. The sarcasm was cutting. It was not humor. It really, really, truly was cutting and harmful. And I've had to seek forgiveness and accept the ways that I showed up very unhealthily in some situations. On another note, I had to accept that regardless of my birth story, and I've talked about some of that here before, and the wounds I've had around rejection and abandonment, I've had to walk through on this healing journey, accepting that I was born whole and lovable and enough, that I am enough. I've had to walk through a lot of steps in accepting that truth. If you see me looking down, I do have some notes just to keep myself on track a bit. I've also had to accept new truth. I am a person, I'm an avid learner, reader, gatherer of knowledge and information. I'm very linear in my thinking. And so a lot of times when I have taken hold of information, it's locked in. And in the past, it would be very challenging for me to accept new truth, or as I say, also to accept an expansion in my mindset. And so I've had to accept that there's expanded truth about things like my faith system and my faith practice that I, was in for many, many years. What family means, what being a Black woman in the world means. I've had to expand my vision and accept that there is new information that may challenge what I already know that I know. And that's been part of this healing process. I've had to accept others as they are and meet them where they are. I've had to accept that I am not responsible for anybody else but myself. I cannot be. We each have our own individual journeys. And while I can have compassion and understanding, I have to accept each person for where they are and who they are. the same way I want them to accept me as I am growing, accept new versions of me. I need to offer others the same courtesy. And part of that has been challenging because everyone goes at their own pace. And so there are relationships that have shifted and changed because maybe someone is not ready and not on the same timetable as me. I can remember when I first started kind of waking up and healing, as I would do, I felt like it was just me, like that everybody else was already down the road, already in this place, and would find myself getting hurt and offended about things. And then I had to take a step back and recognize, oh, wait a minute. I have to accept where they are. And it's okay. Maybe our relationship is going to change a little bit. And that's okay. I have to accept that they're on their own path, just like I am. And it's not a race. It's not a competition. We're each on our own individual paths. And now I have more of a mindset that we meet people along the way at the right time. And sometimes it's just for that time. And there's a letting go. And maybe you reconnect later. But everyone is not going to be on the same trajectory at the same pace as I am. And again, that's basic, but I'm just telling you my healing journey. I had to accept that. And finally, I had to accept myself, accept and affirm all the pieces of me. I think, as I've come to understand myself a little bit more, that lack of affirmation in childhood really had me always showing up feeling less than. And so anything that felt off or, askew in any way about me, I would over magnify it and feel like, come down so hard on myself. And so I've had to learn and accept parts of me and affirm myself along this healing journey and not put so much effort or not effort, so much responsibility on other people to, give me these cues about what I am doing well, what is right about me. But that, as one of my authors I love, Richard Rohr, has a book and it's called Everything Belongs. And I say that about myself, everything belongs. Everything about me belongs. And if I don't start with me, I cannot expect to show up in any, relationship, situation, anything, any way, any space I'm in, if I'm not walking in believing that everything about me belongs. And that's not, again, arrogant or to say I'm not ever growing, but certainly not coming in always feeling at a deficit. For me, finding that that middle ground, moving from my extremes, to this place of openness. It does not mean that I am not capable or something is wrong, but I can be open to what I'm going to learn, how I'm going to grow, but I'm showing up fully myself, knowing that I'm valuable and worthy, and accepting all that there is to me and how I may be in any space that I am in, knowing everything about me belongs. And so that's it. Acceptance. We are on this MayDay series. I am going to keep this promise to myself and get through these 26 days. We will be ending on my birthday. As you can see, again, this linear-minded person needed a goal to get back on track here with my YouTube channel. I thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed and a couple folks who have reached out asking, hey, where are you? What is going on in some of the other social media um, platforms? Thank you so much. I hope this has been helpful. And let me know any A words that you have that you want to add on this healing journey. Come along with me, 26 days. Anyone who has that MayDay in your soul, screaming out, wanting to move into freedom, join me on the journey. Thanks so much.